Hello, English addicts. Welcome, English addicts. It's so nice to see you back where you belong. Here we go again, yes, and if you haven't already noticed, it is very windy here today. We are having gales, very strong, blustery wind blowing past my studio window, as you can see right now. Here we go then. Yes, we are back together once more. It is English Addict for a Sunday afternoon UK time, coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language, which of course is England. Oh, hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Are there any happy people left on the planet? I don't know. It would appear that a lot of people at the moment are feeling frustrated, angry, maybe a little let down or disappointed. Let down. I like that phrase. If a person feels let down, it means their expectations were not met. They were expecting something nice, but in reality they got nothing, or maybe they did not get the thing they wanted. So they feel let down. You feel disappointed by the thing or the person. So there is a lot of negative feeling around at the moment in the world, including here in the UK. A lot of people getting angry about all sorts of things, but guess what? We don't do that here. We don't do anger. We don't become disappointed or let down by anything, because we always try to be positive. My name is Duncan. I talk about English. I love English very much. You might say that I am one of those. I am an English addict, and I have a feeling that you might also be one of those as well. Thank you for joining me today. It is a very strange day as far as the weather is concerned. Outside, windy, we've had a lot of rain. In fact, if you look behind me right now, you can see that in the distance behind me it is raining. So that view behind me is a very good representation of what today's weather is like here in England. Of course, a lot of people around the world having all sorts of crazy weather. We've had snow. Not here, but in the desert. Some Middle Eastern countries have actually had snow in the desert. How is that even possible? I don't know, really. Very nice to see you here today. Yes, we have a busy one. Besides myself, there is also Mr. Steve as well. For those who like listening to Mr. Steve and his stories, you are in for a treat, because Mr. Steve has some more of his very unique wit and wisdom. A person's wit and wisdom, their thoughts, their ideas on life, the way they feel about certain things. A person's wit and wisdom. We will have some of that from Mr. Steve in around about 20 minutes from now. Does that sound like a good idea? I hope it does. Here we are at... I've just noticed. It's very busy on the live chat already. Very nice to see you here today. Yes, we have made it to the end of another week, and also almost the end of another weekend as well. Oh, by the way, it is a special anniversary here today. Do you know what the anniversary is? It's not my anniversary, but it is someone's anniversary. A very special lady is celebrating her big anniversary today. Do you know who it is? Yes, we have made it all the way to Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday, the end of the week. I hope you've had a nice relaxing weekend. I know that some people have to work. It is true. I remember many years ago, I used to work at the weekend and I hated it. So I would work quite often during the week and I would have a day off in the week. Quite often I would have Wednesday off in the week when I used to work full time many years ago. And then I would work at the weekend. And I don't think I ever liked it. Even though I did it for quite a long time, I really did not enjoy working at the weekend. So what about you? Do you ever have to work at the weekend? Do you ever have to go to work and spend the weekend at work? So I think for many people this is a normal situation, especially if you work in certain professions. I suppose the most obvious one is retail. If you work in a shop, if you work in a department store, or maybe you have to do something like drive a bus. People still need buses at the weekend. Some people might say that people around the country need buses more at the weekend because they want to go around and go shopping and do all sorts of things. So what about you? Do you ever have to work at the weekend and what do you think of it? So I used to work on Saturdays and then for a while, normally during Christmas time or before Christmas arrived, I would have to work on Sunday as well. So quite often I would have to work for the whole weekend. So it is a thing that I suppose more and more people are having to do because you will find, especially now, as everything returns back to normal slowly, you will find that people will probably be working much longer hours and maybe on more days than they normally would. Maybe there is a certain amount of catching up that needs to be done in your job. So maybe you will have to work more than you did before the pandemic started. So we will see what happens. Oh, a lot of people making correct guesses. Yes, it is a special day today as the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, celebrates 70 years on the throne. No, not that type of throne, the other type. Because here in British English, if a person is sitting on the throne, it can also mean that they are sitting on the toilet, you see. So they could be sitting on the toilet or they could be sitting on the actual throne of a certain country. So the Queen of England today is celebrating 70 years. Wow. And it's nice to be here as well, celebrating as well. I suppose it's nice to be here. I did see the Queen yesterday on television. She was cutting a big cake. We will have a look at that later on. I wonder, over the past few months, I think the Queen of England has been cutting a lot of cakes. In fact, whenever I see the Queen of England, she always has something in her hand to cut a cake with. Here we go then. Yes, we have the live chat. Hello, live chat. Nice to see you here as well. Ooh, I wonder who was first today on the live chat. I'm just looking. Oh, very interesting. We have a very interesting situation here. Congratulations to Beatrice. Guess what? You are first on today's live chat. Congratulations. Well done to Beatrice. You are first on today's live chat. Congratulations. We also have, oh, hello, Jimmy from Hong Kong. Hello to Jimmy. Nice to see you here as well. We also have Vitas. I'm ever so sorry. I'm ever so sorry, Vitas, but you were not first today. We also have Luis Mendez is here today. And Devilal. Hello, Devilal Godara. I love your name, by the way, even though I can't pronounce it. Hello also to Nelly. Hello, Nelly. I don't recognise your name. Have you changed your name, or is it your first time here? If it is your first time, don't forget to say, Mr. Duncan, it is my first time. We also have Maria Antonia Martins. Hello to you as well. Welcome to the live chat. Zudzika is here as well. Nice to see you. Rosa. We also have Sandra Gonzalez with a beautiful bright rainbow saying hello. Also, Marwa. Hello, Marwa. Nice to see you back as well. Julio, or should I say Julio or Julio? I'm not sure. Julio Codreo Chacon or Chacon. Good morning, Mr. Duncan. Greetings from Costa Rica. And I like your flag as well, fluttering away. We might have flags of the world at 3 o'clock today, because it would appear that a lot of people actually enjoy watching those flags of the world. Apparently you love looking out for your flag. So maybe we will do that today at around about 3 o'clock. Olga is here. Valentin is here. We also have Nessar. Hello, Nessar. Wow, so many people joining in. Yes, as I mentioned, it is the Queen of England's special anniversary. It was 70 years ago. 70. The death of her father, George V, meant that she had to take over. She had to become the Queen of England. And that's what she's been doing for the past 70 years. That's a very long time. I can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine doing one thing, the same thing, for 70 years. Can you imagine that? So I believe they are describing this as her Platinum Jubilee. So the Jubilee means celebration. So it is a commemoration of a certain thing happening a certain amount of time ago. Today, it is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee of being the Queen of England. Hello also to Paolo Kevolani. Hello to you as well. Thanks for joining. Udam is here, one of our faithful, very faithful viewers watching today. Thank you very much for joining me. Mustafa is here as well. My goodness, so many people joining in. By the way, it is raining again. You may notice behind me, the rain once more is coming down. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That is the view right now outside. You can see we are not having a very nice day today. It is blustery, strong winds. It's raining as well. It's a pretty dramatic day as far as the weather is concerned, I must say. So what about you? Have you ever had to work at the weekend? So I never liked it. One of the things I used to always look forward to whenever I used to work on a Saturday, way back in the past, was when Mr. Steve would come and meet me for lunch. We would normally have lunch together somewhere. So I always would look forward to that moment where I could have my lunch on a Saturday lunchtime, because Steve would always come into town and then we'd meet up and go and have something to eat. So that always made my day much brighter, knowing that at some point I would be able to see Steve and we would be able to have a nice meal together. Hello, Marcia. Hello also to, Sukat. Sukat is having some technical problems. I think Sukat might be having some problems with the internet. I think so. I am having difficulty and my husband is not here and he knows how to make it work. Hello, Rosa. Rosa is here, but not for long. Rosa is only staying for a few moments. But it's nice to see you here anyway, even if it's just for a few moments. Apparently, Mr. Duncan, my name is Julio, or Julio, as in Julio Iglesias, a famous singer from Spain in the 1980s. I know Julio Iglesias. When I begin, the begin. That is all I know of that particular song. I don't know any more words from that song. Didn't he used to be a footballer? Is that true? Julio Iglesias, who was a big star during the 1980s, also here in the UK. So he did have a very big hit in the charts with a song called Begin the Begin. So yes, I know all about him. Hello also to Megar. Hello, Megar. Nice to see you here. Hello, Claudia. Claudia, you will be pleased to hear that I have decided not to have my teeth replaced. If you were watching last Wednesday, I was telling you all about a strange offer that I had from a cosmetic company, a cosmetic surgery company in Turkey, who offered to fly me to their country, to Turkey, and they were going to replace my teeth for free. But I have decided not to do that. I have decided that I'm not going to do that at all. Oh, that was satisfying. Julio Iglesias was more famous for... I can't say that. Tomek, I can't say that. I will read your message, but I won't read it out loud. But yes, I think Julio Iglesias was a bit of a sex symbol. Lots of women and maybe some men were quite attracted to Julio Iglesias. I think so. Hello also to... apparently Julio works in tourism, and we have a lot of visitors from the UK, and they come here to Guanacaste Airport through a company called TUI. Now, I believe TUI are a travel company. Is that right? TUI. I think they used to be called Thomson. Am I right there? I think TUI used to be Thomson Thomson Airlines, and they would often fly people to holiday destinations. I think so. I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure they are. Hello also to Marcia. Hello, Marcia, who apparently likes red wine, but white is good when it is a hot day. I know nothing about wine. I know some people are crazy about drinking wine, and they know all the different types of wine. I can tell you now, I know absolutely nothing about wine. Do you? Do you know anything about wine? I have some friends, and they are, let's just say they are very wealthy, and they have a wine cellar. I think they might be the only people I know who have a wine cellar, but they do. And they collect wine. It's their hobby. It's a very strange hobby, but quite often they will order very special wine and they will pay hundreds of pounds for this wine. And then they just keep it. They don't drink it, they just keep it in their wine cellar, because they say that the value of the wine will then go up over the years. So I suppose for some people, you might say that wine and wine collecting is a thing that you invest your money into. So there are a lot of people who invest their money into wine. And there are those who just enjoy drinking it. They do. Saturino says Julio Iglesias was a football player, and he was a goalie. He used to be in goal. He was a goalkeeper for Real Madrid, but sadly he got injured playing and he became a singer instead. I wonder if any singers, any famous singers have ever become footballers. So the reverse. So maybe someone who used to sing in a pop group, later they go on and become a footballer. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, Salwar. Hello, Salwar. Nice to see you here today. Very nice. Thank you very much for joining me today. Bruno5 says yes, TUI was named as Thomson Holidays until 2017. I don't know about you, but I really hate it when companies and products change their names. It's very confusing. I remember many years ago when the Snicker bars, do you know what I mean? They're little chocolate bars with peanuts inside, and now they are called Snickers. But years ago, I remember that they were called marathons. So here in the UK, the Snickers bar was actually called a marathon bar. And then they changed the names. And it's all very confusing. I think so. Hello also to Sandra Gonzalez. Nice to see you here as well. We are going to take a break in a moment. We have Mr. Steve coming up. We are talking about panic. That is today's subject, or one of them anyway. We're also talking about pride as well. Having pride in something you are proud of. And of course, today we have our special quiz, Name That Fish. I think it's going to be the best thing I've ever done on my live stream. All of that coming up later on. And of course, we have Mr. Steve here as well, coming up in just a few moments. But first of all, we'll take a break as Mr. Steve makes himself comfortable here in the studio. This is an excerpt from one of my full English lessons. And then after this, yes, he is here. The ultimate mummy's boy. Mr. Steve is on his way. Surprise! It's me! Were you expecting me, or did you think someone else would pop up on your screen? Welcome to another full English lesson, coming to you from the birthplace of Rod Stewart, Fraser's dad, Benjamin Britten, Rod Temperton. What? You don't know who Rod Temperton was? He only wrote some of the biggest songs in popular music history, the most successful of which was Thriller by Michael Jackson. But I digress. So without any more musical chit-chat and songwriting shenanigans, let's get on with today's full English lesson right now. The English language can be very confusing, especially when it comes to grammar and punctuation. Here's a good example of that confusion. For what reason do you use an apostrophe in the word it's? This particular confusion occurs with native speakers as well as those learning it as a second language. The two types of uses are contraction and possessive. As a contraction, there is an apostrophe added to the sentence which shows that the sentence in question has been shortened. Instead of it is, you put it's. It's so nice of you to invite me over. Without the apostrophe, the word becomes possessive, to clearly show that the thing in question belongs to the subject being discussed, as in, an elephant in the wild will grab the branch with its trunk. So there is a definite difference between these two uses. As I already mentioned, it is common for those who use English natively to make mistakes. So the next time you make a small error whilst speaking English, you can reassure yourself by remembering this lovely phrase. Whether you use English every day or if you're only just starting to learn how to say, mistakes are common and they happen either way. Enjoy English. It's time now to take a look at another buzzword. A buzzword is a word or sentence that is popular during a certain period of time or is used often. Today's buzzword is negotiate. The word negotiate is a verb that means to obtain or bring something about by discussion. To make something happen by formally discussing the important points where there is disagreement is to negotiate. They had to negotiate a new pay deal for the employees. Some market traders are willing to negotiate the price with you. To share disagreements with a view to making compromises and changes is to negotiate. Sometimes it is necessary to discuss the disagreements that two or more groups have, so they must be negotiated. To find a way through or over something, such as an obstacle or a difficult route, is to negotiate. The cyclists had to negotiate some very sharp corners during the race. To transfer a cheque or bill with its benefits to another person is to negotiate. To convert a cheque into cash or notes is to negotiate. The noun negotiation is the actual discussion where people negotiate a plan or a deal. The negotiations went on right through the night. The word negotiate originated in Latin and meant done in the course of business. Synonyms of negotiate include talk, discuss, barter, confer, bargain, parley, settle. You negotiate. There is nothing more pleasing than seeing someone smile. A smile can go a long way. I love smiling as it gives me a chance to show off my lovely teeth. Isn't it strange how we take our teeth for granted? We only really appreciate them after they've gone. There are many idioms relating to teeth. For example, you can get your teeth into something. To do something with enthusiasm and passion is to get your teeth into something. I can't wait to get my teeth into this new job. If something is rare or uncommon, then we can say that it is like hen's teeth. The honesty of a politician is as common as hen's teeth. The meaning being that a hen has no teeth. To be annoyed by something to the point where you cannot take it anymore. You can be sick to your back teeth. Your constant complaining is making me sick to my back teeth. To start out as a newcomer or to learn as you go along is to cut your teeth. I spent 5 years in the Justice Department cutting my teeth as a lawyer. Teeth can be described as gnashers, choppers, ivories, pearly whites, chompers. If a person has big teeth, then we might describe them as looking like tombstones. Look after your teeth. You'll miss them when they're gone. Look after your teeth. You will miss them when they're gone. Thank you very much for joining me today. We are live right now, and this is English Addict. It really is. With myself, Mr. Duncan, and now, yes, you know what's coming next.
Hello.
Here he is.
Hello, lovely friends across the planet, across the universe.
Yes.
Have we had anybody watching us from Mars recently? Or any other planets or solar systems?
Sadly, at the moment, we are just concerned with viewers on Earth. However, you never know. You never know where these internet signals end up. They might be going off into space.
Exactly.
There might be a little green alien watching us right now, trying to improve their English. Who knows?
As a certain queen has got a celebration.
Yes, it is all about the queens today. We have queens everywhere, including the Queen of England, who is what?
Well, 70 years on the throne. And when we say on the throne, we don't mean on the toilet.
Yes, I mentioned that earlier.
Oh,
as
did
well.
you? Right.
I did, but it's very funny, isn't it? Because when we say that we are, if we say we are on the throne, it means we are actually probably having a poop.
Yes, it's a polite way of saying you're going to the toilet.
Yes,
because you're sitting down. And but yes, I mean that's quite some achievement, and it's worth celebrating. And I think a lot of people have been mentioning it. And something we learnt yesterday, didn't we, about Prince Charles's consort?
Oh yes. Well, Prince Charles's
Camilla.
Prince Charles's wife.
Yes.
She's going to have a title.
Yes.
So when, of course, not yet, because the Queen has to die first. So she doesn't get the best part of this deal, unfortunately. So when the Queen dies, Prince Charles will become king. We will have a king once again. But the Queen has said that Camilla, who of course, this is a long story, by the way.
Wow.
Camilla was Prince Charles's childhood sweetheart. So they knew each other before Charles married Diana. But of course, do I need to mention how that ended? it didn't end very
Yes,
well.
they probably would have got married, wouldn't they? But the Queen refused to let them marry because if I get my facts right, because Camilla had been married before.
Yes.
So she was a divorcee, and that isn't allowed in royal protocol. And there's many other cases going back where that wasn't allowed. And every time it's led to disaster. And it did this time as well, because a king had to abdicate years ago because he wasn't allowed to marry a divorced American lady.
Yes.
And that led to disaster. And then we had another one. But anyway, let's not go into that.
Well, what I was going to say is I haven't finished the story yet. So Camilla is going to be known as the Queen's consort. So she'll be Queen consort, but it doesn't give her any power. It doesn't mean anything. It's quite a meaningless title, but she will be known as the Queen consort.
Consort is just like companion,
Yes.
isn't it? A companion.
Yeah. So wherever the king goes, the Queen will be somewhere nearby.
You could say that I was your consort, really, as sort of the Queen of English teaching on the internet.
You?
I am your... No, you.
Oh, me.
I am your consort.
I think
Your companion.
I would prefer to be the king of English, to be honest.
A lot of people are saying, God save the Queen. Or do you mean queens?
Yes.
When we say queens, do we have to explain what that also means?
I don't think
Probably not.
I don't think we need to, really.
Sue Cat's on here today. I haven't seen Sue Cat for a long time.
Yes.
And she says hello to me, so thank you very much indeed. Lovely to see you, Sue Cat.
Anyway.
And maybe I can update you on the car issue later on.
Okay.
If you've got time.
Okay. Can we actually get through all the things I planned? Because last week I planned lots of lovely things, and because of Steve literally talking about things for ages and ages, we actually ran out of time. So, would you like... Hey, do you want to see a picture of the Queen cutting a cake?
Go on.
Well, there it is.
Oh, yes.
There is the Queen. That was her yesterday. She was cutting... That is a really big cake.
I think she was struggling a bit.
She stuck the knife in. I think she was pretending it was Andrew.
Probably.
She stuck the knife in. She seemed to be enjoying that part. And then she had a big slice of cake. But look at the size of that cake. Can you imagine? Just one slice of that cake.
The calories.
It's like a 4-course meal, that cake.
We do love our Queen, though, because of all the royals, she is the one that... and she reissued her loyalty to serving the British people yesterday, and she isn't going to abdicate. She's going to carry on for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And these are qualities in people which we don't see very often these days. Somebody who pledged...
Well,
she's obviously in a privileged position, but nevertheless... She didn't have to do what she's done for the last 70 years. She could have just sat in Buckingham Palace and done nothing, but she didn't. She said, I'm going to pledge myself to, And it was quite touching, I thought, that somebody still does that and says that they're going to do that. Serve.
Oh, yeah, okay, Steve. I feel as if we should have the national anthem playing behind Mr. Steve as he's talking. What? Well, I don't know what that was.
Well, you start crying, don't you, when you hear that rousing
I do when you sing it.
Anthem.
Everyone's crying when you do it.
That's true.
So the Queen of England has been on the throne, as it were, for 70 years. It's incredible, isn't it? It's a long time. I bet her bottom has gone completely numb.
I know, it's going to be very different. Will everything fall apart when the Queen goes?
Yeah.
Because, of course, everyone respects the Queen so much. And she's never really put a foot wrong.
What?
But
sorry, Steve.
Well,
I think
people, okay, let's not go into that. But when other royals come, like Charles,
okay.
Will people be more willing to criticise? Maybe, who knows?
I don't know.
Will they survive? This is the big question.
Well, of course they'll survive.
In their present form,
as what?
Well, as
it's hard.
yeah, because then we could go Republic, couldn't we? It often comes up.
What? There's absolutely no chance of that happening. Anyway, Steve, we're getting into a sticky mess here. What I was going to say is the Queen of England has put her foot wrong in the past, especially over Princess Diana, which would appear. I'm just going to mention this because I think it is relevant. So it would appear now that the royal family is now trying its best to get everyone to forget about all of the mistakes and all of the awfulness that has been happening in the royal family, especially after the death of Princess Diana, which I think was a very dark and I suppose you would call it a low.
I thought you wanted to move on, Mr. Duncan.
Well, I think that's interesting. But that's what I'm trying to say. I think when Charles becomes king, I think it is kind of an almost reinvention for the modern royal family, because Harry's gone. He's gone now. He's gone to the United States. So he's living in his big mansion.
As somebody who wanted to move on, you're certainly going on and on about the royals.
We're on about the Queen. It's 70 years.
Well, you say, we've got to move on. We've got to move on.
No, only from that only from the point you were making, which was going on for ages. But I think this is interesting. It's an interesting subject. But yes, I suppose it will be a way of sort of changing things and rebranding. I believe that's the word they've actually used. They've actually used that word in the media and on the news. So they are trying to rebrand the royal family for when Charles steps in. Because Harry's gone. Andrew, of course,
talk about Andrew.
Andrew could be in prison a year from now. So it's, we've got to cover quite a few things up. The royal family has been involved in a lot of scandals, not just our current royal family, but in the past.
But the Queen's remained, scandal-free.
Yeah.
She's led a blameless life, as
almost,
we say.
Almost.
And yes, she's made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But she's stayed free from scandal, which has affected many other royal members.
Yes. Why are you talking like that? You sound like the Archbishop.
Yes, Lewis said it seems that Tony Blair saved the monarchy. Yes, you're probably right.
Yes. Well, a lot of people have said that it was his speech that kind of saved the Queen's face, as it were, because he gave that very poignant and heartfelt speech just after Princess Diana was killed, and I think it did change things in a very big way. So yes, I think you're right there. It's very hard. It would be very hard to say anything different there. So there she is, the Queen of England. We salute you, Queen. We salute you, Mom. And here's to another 70 years. I think
need a miracle for that, Mr. Duncan.
I think that was really heartfelt. That's about as genuine as I'm going to get in that situation. We're talking about panic today.
Well, okay. Let's not induce panic by saying something controversial.
Yes.
Which could get you banned from YouTube.
Yes. Well, I don't think you can now. I think it's very hard to get banned from YouTube because all of the people. No, wait there.
Can I try?
Well, I was about to make a point. I just wish you'd let me make a point. I'm making the point that there are all of the people that used to get blocked and have had their ad revenue taken away. A lot of them now are back on YouTube, saying the same things, and they have ads as well, and it doesn't seem to have changed anything. So I think YouTube have actually changed their mind about blocking people and kicking people off, because they've realised that those particular channels are quite popular and they might be actually doing themselves a disservice by losing their own ad revenue. So I think it might be true.
Tomek says, get rid of Boris, please.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yes.
I did mention earlier, a lot of people angry at the moment in the UK, and I suppose around the world. No one is happy at the moment.
There's a lot going on, but yes, I concur with your comment. I wanted to ask Tomek something, because there's been a news story in the UK, quickly, if I can do this quickly, Mr. Duncan, about Jeff Bezos's super yacht.
Yeah, this is great. I love this story.
Which is being built in Rotterdam. And they're going to have to dismantle this famous bridge.
Yes. So because the yacht is so big.
It's so big. I mean, what we heard yesterday is that the locals apparently are going to be, when this boat comes out, they're going to throw eggs at it. So I just wondered whether Tomek was going to go down there to the port and throw rotten eggs at Jeff Bezos' multi-million-pound super yacht.
Yes.
I mean, he is, to be fair, he will have brought a lot of money into the local economy by having that boat built there. So I do find it a bit strange that... Yes, I can understand that this famous bridge is going to have to be...
interrupting yourself?
This famous bridge is going to have to be dismantled. But from what I understand, it was dismantled not that long ago, and he's paying for it, and it will be put back together again.
Yes.
But so... He must have brought a lot of money into the local economy by having that boat being built.
So
I would have thought.
You do realise that Jeff Bezos and Amazon are well known for paying no tax anywhere in the world?
Well, I'm not talking about that. I was just talking about his boat.
Okay.
But yes, we're very interested.
Well, they've built it now and it's going.
Yes, Tomek is joining them. But I wonder how much money he brought into the local economy by choosing to have his boat to be built in Rotterdam as opposed to somewhere else.
That's it.
He could have had it built in other places, I'm sure.
But they've finished it now, and then he's going to sail his yacht away, and then that's it. They've got no jobs again.
Yeah, but maybe they'll get other jobs, because now they've built this super yacht.
Yes.
Other multi-billionaires will want their new yachts to be built there, and it'll have to be even bigger, because of course they'll have to have a bigger boat than Jeff Bezos. Maybe who's the head of what's his name?
I don't know.
The head of Facebook. What's his name?
Don't you know his name?
I can't think. Just tell me, Mr. Duncan.
Don't you know his name?
Well, just tell me.
Go on. No, just think.
Oh yeah, just leave me embarrassed and hanging in
I'm not embarrassing
Thank
you,
Mr. Duncan.
Just think.
Just tell me, Mr. Duncan. Right, we won't bother. But anyway, he'll want a boat even bigger, even though he's lost 30 billion in his shares this week on Facebook.
Steve,
I shouldn't imagine he could afford to have one built. But there we go. But yes.
So that's what it's come to now. We have to all wait for multi-billionaires to decide to have a luxury yacht built.
Well, it brings money into the local economy. So,
I can't remember.
Maybe don't knock it.
Okay, Steve, I can't remember his bloody name. The Facebook guy.
Oh, you can't remember either?
No, what's his name? He looks like a robot.
That's what...
Hello, I am the boss of...
Zuckerberg, that's it. Thank you very much,
yes,
pal.
Zuckerberg.
When you're here live, and the stress and the tension, and your mind just goes blank.
All right, Steve.
It must be like being on a on a game show.
On a talk game show.
On a game show, and you're being asked questions, the pressure and the beads of sweat, and you can't answer the simplest questions. But yes.
Good.
There are many shipyards in Rotterdam where yachts for the super rich are built.
Yes.
Well, it must be... see, we used to build yachts.
They do have a lot of water around there.
Yes, you see, they must be experts in shipbuilding.
Yes.
Which we used to have a thriving industry in the UK. I don't think it's quite as thriving as it used to be.
No, they've all gone to Rotterdam to have their boats built.
Yes. So... Well, anyway, we'll watch that live as it comes out of Rotterdam, and we'll look to see if we can see anybody that looks a bit like Tomek, who's throwing eggs at the ship.
Well, we don't know what Tomek looks like.
No, but we can have a look anyway, and they sort of try and work out who we think it might be.
Okay. What a great way to spend your time.
Yes.
Apparently, it's called the Marcutan, Marcutan Bridge. And apparently they're taking it down. They're going to dismantle it so Jeff Bezos can get his big Amazon boat.
Maybe, Tomek, if you are there and you think you're being televised, take a placard with you
Oh, yes.
with Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve on. Hold it up, and then we'll know it's you.
I've got it wrong. No. Mark Jutan Bridge.
Ah.
Oh, it's not the name of the bridge. I thought it was.
He's going to wear an orange beanie.
Okay.
Right. We'll look out for that one.
Yes. Welcome to the we spend half an hour talking about Tomek. There are other people, by the way, on the live chat.
Sucat says, was the Titanic built in Liverpool? I
It
think
was. Are you sure about that?
Maybe somebody can look it up, but that sounds...
I think you'll find
Like
it was a bit further south than that.
Where? Where do you think it was built?
Well, I thought it was built in Ireland.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe somebody can look that up.
I mean, it sailed. It sailed from where? I think
Don't
it
know.
sailed from Southampton. I don't know much about the Titanic. It's you know our brain doesn't have much information about the Titanic. All I remember was there was an iceberg and
Yes.
the band kept playing, and that's it really.
And, there were some famous actors on board.
Yes,
at
I
the
was right.
time.
It was Ireland.
Ah, Belfast. There we go. Thank you very much for updating us, Sucat, on that. Because it's very difficult. We can't have access to Google while we're also. Well, we could do. I suppose I could be doing that down here, couldn't I?
Yes.
Anyway, Mr. Duncan.
What to make up for our lack of intelligence? The sun's come out.
But that was an interesting story that was covered quite substantially here in the UK.
Yes, and on our live
this
stream.
week, yes. So interesting.
Very interesting. It's too fascinating for words. We are talking about panic today.
Pardon? What?
Panic,
Oh,
like the people on the Titanic. Should that be the tight panic? Sorry, I can't believe I'm making jokes about that, but there you go.
panic. Interesting. Have you
So-
got a panic button?
We have words connected to that, and the reason is because I had a little panic the other night. I had a panic when my toaster decided to catch fire, and there it is. Can you see it? There it is. That is the dramatic footage of my toaster, and it's burning. It's on fire, and that happened the other night when Steve was out, and I forgot all about my toast. And as you know, my toaster at the moment isn't working properly, and it did not pop the toaster properly, and so the toaster stayed on for ages, and then suddenly the house was full of smoke, and as if that isn't embarrassing enough, it's actually the second time it's happened in the past 2 weeks. So the house was full of smoke. In fact, Steve doesn't even realise just how bad it was.
Well, I got a hint
The house was literally full of blue smoke.
because when I came back, the house stunk of burnt toast.
Yes.
And in fact, the smell has only just gone.
Yeah.
So it was there about 3 or 4 days. I kept waking up in the night thinking I'd had a stroke, because apparently that's one of the signs of having a stroke, that you can smell.
It is
It
interesting.
smells like burnt. You can smell burnt toast, apparently.
Yes, interesting. So, so if you can ever smell burnt toast, it's either your toast is burning or you're having a stroke.
Can I tell a little story about this toaster? So this toaster went wrong several weeks ago. So we both know Mr. Duncan knew that it was faulty,
Yes.
and it could actually not switch off properly and set fire to the toast. So what happens? I go out, Mr. Duncan, I go out for the evening to a rehearsal. Mr. Duncan says, "Oh, I'll make myself some toast." So he puts it in the toaster,
Yes.
shuts the kitchen door,
No, I pushed it too.
comes wandering into his studio
Yeah.
and leaves the toast in a faulty toaster.
Yes.
I could have come back. The house could have been ablaze, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
You are reckless.
Yes.
Reckless.
But on the bright side, I would have been burnt to death. So,
Well, I'm sure
you know,
you'd have run out of the house.
there's always an upside.
You
No,
can-
I could have been overcome by the fumes, the burning toast. I could have become overcome with the fumes and passed out. And then Steve would come back and the house would just be burning with all of the neighbours standing around cheering.
Well, my older generations are more wary of electrical items than people of younger generations. Take my mother, for example.
Okay.
She still, every night, turns off every electrical appliance and pulls out the plug of the television, everything. Because going back sort of 50 years, electrical items were prone to malfunction and could sort of set fire.
They were always bursting into flames. I don't know if you remember, Steve, but every week people's houses would burn down all over the place. 6 of my neighbours, their houses burnt down in the 1970s just because their TV overheated. And everywhere.
Well, my sister, their television, they had a television in their bedroom.
Yes.
And of course, you leave televisions on standby, don't you? So this was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And my sister happened to be in the house at the time. The alarms went off, and something had gone wrong with the television, and it started to smoke and burst into flame. And if my sister hadn't been in at the time, what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing
then
because
the house would have burnt down. Because
I'm just wondering what they were watching.
no, it was off.
Off?
At the time.
Completely off?
In standby.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens with appliances that are quite old is that because when it's on standby, the electricity is still going through certain components, isn't it? Like the transformer
I guess so.
inside the television. So after a while, these stay hot all the time, and the insulation starts to break down, and then eventually something goes wrong.
Yes.
So I like to switch everything off at night. We don't. We tend to leave the television on, but maybe we should. Because you never know.
We should be as paranoid as your mother. By the way, Steve's mother is almost the same age as the Queen.
She is.
That's amazing,
She
isn't
looks
it?
a bit like the Queen.
I think your mother is going to get a letter from the Queen. Because apparently when you reach 100 years old, you get a letter, you get a telegram. Do they still have telegrams? It doesn't sound like something that exists anymore.
Maybe you get a text.
Yeah. Well, they send you a lovely telegram from the Queen who says, "One is happy to hear that it is your birthday. Many happy returns from the Queen." So when you're 100, I wonder who will send the Queen of England a telegram. So when the Queen of England becomes 100, will she actually send herself a telegram?
We'll find out. I wonder who will send me a telegram. Who do you think will be on the throne when I'm 100?
I don't know.
So that's 40 years' time. So I would imagine it's probably going to be William, isn't
Yes,
it?
it'll be King William.
I will get a telegram from William.
Of course, everyone will call him King Willie. That will be the nickname, you see.
That's right.
They will
yes.
call him King Willie.
He has a King Willie. Right. Where is this? Right. Okay. Right. I must stop reading out Tomex.
Yeah. It's not the Tomex show. There are other people. There's at least 120
No,
people.
I'm reading out other people's as well.
Like, well, go on then.
People are talking about the lovely weather behind us. They are noticing that the sun has come out and is making everything. Yes, we can get rid of the burning toaster now.
Well, that will be back later because we've got panic words coming up in a few minutes.
Right, panic words.
Yes.
So if you're in a situation where you suddenly react to something because you're very frightened, instead of staying calm and, is this something I really need to react to? You instantly go to panic mode and...
That's it. So that's what we're looking at in a little while. By the way, Steve, in the garden this morning, I couldn't resist. Oh, look at that. The snowdrops have arrived in the garden. There they are, blowing around this morning in the freezing cold wind. And we have snowdrops. So that is a good sign. That means that we are heading towards the end of winter and spring is approaching. So I always feel quite excited, Steve, when the snowdrops appear. And this year there seems to be quite a few of them. Look, there they are. Look, the beautiful snowdrops in the garden.
They do look nice.
They do look nice.
All we need is some snow.
Yes.
And then everything will be fine.
I think so.
By the way, Anna says, because a certain person whose name begins with T,
Okay.
said, when are we going to get to the boring bit with Flags of the World?
Yes.
And Anna says, don't mention it. Well, Pedro's not here, so we don't have to humour Pedro, do we, today? Because I haven't seen him all.
I don't. Yes.
So
Why? I just love the fact you always reference people who actually aren't watching. Is there anyone else who isn't watching today that we can mention?
So don't panic. Don't panic. Anna and Tomek, we are not going to do Flags of the World today.
I know what will take your mind off things. This is a good game that I've invented. This might be the best game we've ever had. Today we are going to play a little game, before we continue, called Name That Fish.
That's a sudden change of subject.
Yes, well, I think it's a very good one. So as we know, a lot of people like fish. Some people keep fish as pets. Did you know that?
Yes.
Do you know that? I don't know how they take them for walks, though. Maybe they just put a little lead around their neck and lead them along.
Zucat says Pedro is here.
Oh.
Well, sorry, but no Flags of the World today.
I will say hello to Pedro. Pedro Belmont.
I didn't see Pedro.
Hello, Pedro.
But yes. Anyway.
Here we go, Steve. Name that
fish.
I'm going to show you some fish.
In a sudden change of direction, we are no longer talking about the royal family or panic. We are suddenly going to talk about fish.
Yes, as a way of changing the subject. So there is something very fishy going on here. Do you like that?
But it depends what the context
I like the way you don't
is.
try to move away from the writing. There we go. You just say, yeah, yes. You stay right behind the writing without trying to move away.
I don't know what you mean, Mr. Duncan.
That's it. There we go. So something fishy is something that's unusual or something that might be seen as suspicious or maybe something that's not real or true.
Yes.
There is something fishy going on here. So what I want you to do now, Steve, is name this fish. What is this fish?
Sturgeon?
No. Well, not
a
quite.
Pike.
This is a fish. It's quite a big one. It looks quite big, doesn't it?
How big is it? Give us a sense of proportion.
It's about that big. They can sometimes be that big, or they can be. Oh, I can't get that big.
Cod.
They can be quite very big.
Mackerel.
Well, it's not for you actually to guess.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know if you noticed, Steve, but we're presenting this.
You didn't actually say that, but never mind.
Well, I thought you would just guess.
Right.
Anyone know what this fish is? This might be the best competition ever.
Would you panic if you saw that coming towards you? It could be gigantic.
It is found in the sea.
Well, we've got somebody's says it could be tuna.
Tuna. That's a good one. That's a good guess.
Tuna. Cod. I've said cod. I don't know whether it's that.
Yes.
Well, we don't know.
Oh, Ciro says catfish.
Catfish.
It does look a bit like a catfish. It's amazing how many fish have unusual features. There are a lot of very unusual fish in the sea.
A barfish.
A barfish.
Nicole.
Yes. Barfish. I like that one.
I don't know barfish. It looks a bit like the fish that used to be in that sort of show. What was it called? Oh,
I don't know.
Puppet show under the sea.
The Muppets.
Marina, Aquamarina. What was it called? I can't remember now.
Shall I just call the nurse and take you away? Do you want to lie down?
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
Do you mean stingray?
Stingray, that's it. It looks like the stingray fish.
Okay.
If anyone ever used to watch that,
That's a good
puppet show from the 1960s.
That's a good reference. I'm sure lots of people remember that puppet show from the 1960s.
Saturina says carp.
Oh, that's a good one. Carp is good. A person that talks too much, a person who always talks and boasts, we can say that that person carps. They will always carp about something. However, it is not. This is actually...
Trout, says Sue Cat.
Here's the answer. Bing!
It is cod.
It's cod.
It's cod.
It's cod. Everyone's favourite fish. Now, most people, when they see cod, it's normally inside one of those little fillet of fishes that McDonald's do. But that's what a cod actually looks like.
Well, Tomek actually got that right, so
Yes.
well done.
Although
He
did literally-
say tuna first.
he did literally name every fish. So
Well, no, the second one.
Okay.
So yes, and I think
Yeah.
I got that right as well.
I thought that was a good game.
Vitas, those flowers were snowdrops,
Snowdrops.
not lilies of the valley. You couldn't see the scale; they're very small. They're only about that tall.
They're very small.
Anyway, back to the fish.
Here we go. Here's our next fish. This one is an angry-looking fish. Doesn't look very happy, this fish. It looks a bit unhappy. It's very unusual as well. Its colour. We can't see that, Steve. You're behind the...
It's got a strange mouth. Oh, right. Yes.
Name the fish. It's found everywhere. It's a kind of fish that people like to catch on their own or by themselves.
You mean, is it freshwater or salt
They can be
water?
big. Yes, that's right. I think you can find them in rivers,
Ah, yes.
lakes.
Sukat says trout. Yes, I was going to say that because I'm barred from saying anything because Mr. Duncan wants you lovely folk to guess what it is.
What? you lovely folk.
Trout, mullet fish, folk. Yes, Americans use that phrase as a nice phrase to talk about people. You folk. It's a sort of, it's a nice way to describe a group of people that you quite like. Folk.
So this fish looks a bit angry.
Yes, Lewis says trout.
We can also describe a person as this fish. If we are being rude or if we want to insult someone, we will use this word. And the answer is bing.
Well, look at that.
Trout.
Well done, Sue Cat.
Trout. Quite often we will call a person a trout, an old trout, maybe a person that we don't like.
Well, the face does look like an old person. That sort of downturned.
In fact, Steve does a very good impression of a trout.
You mean? Are you going to say, "Oh, are you doing it now, Mr. Duncan? Stop it then."
No, I wouldn't do that. That's
So quite a few people got that right. Giovanni got it right. So did Magdalena as well.
Here's another one. Here's another one. This is quite an impressive looking fish. This is an amazing
Are
looking...
these fish learning to speak English, Mr. Duncan?
No, they're learning to speak fish, not English. Oh, look at this one. This is amazing. This one. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but that looks like a very angry fish. That looks like a fish that could take your arm off. When I first saw this, I thought it was a shark. It looks like a shark.
Yes, it does look a bit like a shark. Raphael says in Brazil, we use the phrase trout for a person that we do like. Yes, in the UK we'll say, "Oh, you old trout."
Yes.
It just means an old person that's a bit miserable.
Yes, we don't like that. We're
Yes.
being sort of disrespectful.
So when we go to Brazil, we've got to be careful how we use that phrase.
Yes.
Because, if we like someone, we've got to call them a trout.
Yes. So this also refers to someone's name, by the way, a person's name. Ah.
Well, Nicole says a catfish. So does Saturino.
Yes, it does look like a catfish, doesn't it?
It looks like a cartoon character to me.
Yes, it's very unusual. It looks like it's got a little nose.
Yes, it does. Bruno says sturgeon. So does Francesco. Have we got a clue, Mr. Duncan, from
Yes,
you?
I've just given one.
And what was that? So
It
répétez, s'il vous plaît.
It refers to someone's name.
Is it Jimmy? Is it the Jimmy fish?
And no, it's not.
Is it the Duncan fish?
It's not. It's not Alfie Bass. Do you like that? Did it? Here we go. Then here's the answer. Bing.
Sturgeon. Oh yes, Bruno said sturgeon.
Yes, a few people said sturgeon.
Yeah. So I said that. Yes. So well done.
Yeah, sturgeon.
You know your fish.
And of course, the leader of the Scottish Parliament is called Nicola Sturgeon.
Yes.
See what I did there? Ah,
And Sukat points out, because Sukat is super rich
okay.
and will know these sort of things, because we've seen pictures of Sukat's house, that this is where you get caviar from. So no doubt your fridge is full of it, Sukat.
They're eggs. Is that the eggs of the sturgeon?
Yes.
Yes. And that's where caviar comes from.
She's probably right this minute just having caviar on some pieces of toast. Right now I can just see it.
And of course, you always have to keep the caviar on ice. It must never get warm, or else it will stink.
Sukat likes the finer things in life.
I think so.
Francesco, no, Giovanni says yes, SNP party is Nicholas Sturgeon.
That's it.
The
Scottish National Party.
That's right.
Who are the ruling party at the moment.
Right, here we go. Belarusia apparently is making fish soup.
Isn't that?
Yes. Saturino says that Belarusia is...
No, I think it's actually Saturino who's making fish soup.
Claudia today, fish soup.
I think Saturino is replying to Claudia.
Oh, right, okay.
I think so, judging by the structure of the sentence.
Well, someone is making fish soup, which I
Yes.
think is that's one hell of a coincidence.
Yes.
If we say a hell of a coincidence, we mean it's a real coincidence.
A big coincidence.
A big coincidence that
Yeah.
we were talking about fish and someone is making fish soup. What is the fish soup you are making? What fish are you using to make your fish soup?
Yes. So what fish are you making your fish soup out of?
If we were making fish soup in the UK, we would probably use a fish that isn't too pungent, hasn't got too strong a smell or taste. We would probably use cod or something like that. You wouldn't use salmon.
I've never had fish soup.
No, I have had it.
Oh, okay. Here's another one. Talking of fish. Here's another one. This is one. This can be used in a phrase, an English phrase. We can use this in an English phrase. So look very closely. You might notice that particular fish has lots of scales. The scales on the side of its body are very clear and obvious. Beautiful fish, actually. And you can have this fish in different colours.
That one's got a lovely silvery finish to its scales.
Yes.
It looks like it's covered in aluminium foil.
Yes, it looks like a robot fish.
Yes. Yeah, that's iridescent,
Yes.
I think is a phrase you would use.
Maybe it fires laser beams out of its eyes.
It
Maybe
looks happy. It's got a happy face.
maybe it's a new secret weapon coming our way soon.
Hello, Amit from India. Jimmy says, Vitas says a herring. Jimmy says a silver carp. Do you eat the infamous fish and chips? We do. Oh, we do, yes.
Yes.
I love fish and chips.
Quite often cod is what we have.
Cod, or when cod's not available, haddock is the... Olga says herring. Herring, yes, they are sort of silvery, I think. Sardine, says Lewis.
Okay.
Pollock.
Same to you.
Swearing.
Same to you.
Magdalena.
Who are you calling a pollock?
Pollock to you too.
The answer coming up now. Here we go.
Sardine, says Palmyra.
The answer is... Bing.
Herring.
Herring.
Herring. Anyway,
And there is a...
yes, Olga got that right.
Yes. There is a...
So did Vitas.
And Vitas. I think Vitas was first.
Yes, I think
it.
so. Not that it's a competition.
It isn't a competition, but it's something different, unusual. I think it might be the biggest thing ever to happen on the internet, to be honest. Name that fish. Herring, of course, in English, we can describe something that is misleading or something that is giving you the wrong clues as a red herring. So a red herring refers to something that is misleading you. It is something that is giving you a clue, but unfortunately that clue is incorrect. It is misleading you. It is a red herring.
Yeah, so we could have given you a clue as to what the name of that fish was. That would be incorrect. We were deliberately trying to mislead you into suggesting that it had a different name to put you off the scent, so to speak.
Here is the last one.
Okay.
Talking of things that are fishy, here is our last mystery fish. Oh dear.
Yes.
Can I just say that is a very ugly fish. I know I shouldn't pass comment on the appearance of fish because they're all beautiful, I suppose, in their own way. But that is one ugly fish.
Hello, Salwa from Sudan. Rhubarb says, yes, I've always wondered what kind of fish was in fish and chips. So, yeah, traditionally it's cod. But because tends to be a shortage of cod because of overfishing, then we tend to substitute that sometimes with other types of white fish. So cod's, it's popular whitefish is popular in the UK because it's not too strong. Not too strong a fish in terms of its fishiness.
Yes, it's also easy to get the bones out.
It's easy to get the bones out. It's quite meaty.
That's the downside, you see. That's the downside of eating fish. If you eat fresh fish, there's always the danger that you will choke on one of the bones, like the Queen Mother did many years ago.
She did, yes.
The Queen Mother, so the mother of the Queen of England, she actually choked on a fish bone a few years ago.
Lots of words connected with fish. Yes, Palmyra says that where Palmyra is, she says that when lots of people are all close together, say on the underground or on a train, and you're very close and lots of people around, we say in the UK that people are packed in like sardines, because sardines are small fish and there are all lots of them in a tin very close together. But where Palmyra is, they say crammed like herrings.
Interesting.
But we say crammed like sardines because it's all to do with how the fish are packed very tightly together in tins.
There's also an old game that Victorians used to play called Sardines, where they would all hide in a wardrobe together. They would all hide together. So everyone would squeeze into a small enclosed space, and then you had to guess who was who. I'm not joking, it's a real game. Those Victorians were really quite...
We've got some suggestions here. We've got somebody else made a yes. Tomek mentioned about lots of words connected with fish in the English language.
Yes,
the herring pattern on the sole of a shoe, and that. Thank you for that. That also reminds me of a herringbone pattern that you can get on a suit. Herringbone. I have a suit with a herringbone. They call it a herringbone pattern to it.
Yes.
It's a sort of. It looks like lots of little bones of a fish. Herringbone suit.
So it's not made of fish. Imagine that. Imagine wearing a suit made of...
I wouldn't sell much going out in a suit that was made of fish bones.
Anyway, our final fish, our mystery fish is... And this is one I hate, by the way. I don't like this fish.
Anyway, shall I say we had perch, we had stickleback, anchovy, sardines, mackerel. What is it, Mr. Duncan?
It is one of my least favourite fish. I don't know why. I don't like eating this particular type of fish. Ding!
Anchovy.
Anchovy.
Well, Francesco, you were right.
They are disgusting.
Francesco.
Very tiny fish. Very small. Very small.
They're very... What we would say is they're very fishy.
Yes.
So they've got... Sounds a strange phrase to use, but it means they've got a strong smell of fish. Anchovies, no, I don't. They're very small, aren't they?
That's it. Apparently, I'm sure they're prehistoric because they don't look like real fish. They look very strange and unusual. I think these are one of the oldest fish.
Bruno also said anchovy as well. So did Beatrice.
I don't like anchovies.
I'm not keen on. I don't really like sardines, anchovies. I like mackerel. That's a strong fish, pungent. The fish that are quite oily tend to be quite pungent, so they've got quite a strong smell, like sardines, mackerel. What would be another one? Salmon's quite a pungent fish.
Yes.
As well.
Have you ever been to a fish market? Oh my God!
I have.
It's disgusting. It's
on
horrible.
pizzas, they're okay, says Bruno. Yes, they're quite popular to put on pizzas.
I do not like anchovies. They're disgusting.
Olga says people eat anchovy with beer. You see, in the UK, it wouldn't be. Maybe you can get them. Maybe they're nice fresh. They'd probably be quite nice fresh, but in the UK, we only tend to get them in tins. But I would imagine if you live, in a coastal area, you might be able to get fresh anchovies, and they might be quite nice. But I think because we get them in tins, they're not so popular. Same as sardines.
I don't think they're local. You see, you can't just go out into the local sea or the local coast.
But they're very good for you. These types of small little fish like sardines, anchovies, they've got all these healthy fats in them, haven't they? That are supposed to be good for you, like salmon, omega something or other.
Omega-6.
I don't know, but
all of the omegas.
Supposed to be good for you, but you're not supposed to eat very much oily fish. They recommend that maybe once or twice a week only for oily fish like mackerel, salmon, because the oceans are so polluted that you can get too much mercury and sort of pesticides and things like that.
Yes.
I mean, that's quite bad, isn't it? When they're recommending that fish that are caught in the wider open spaces of the ocean even the pollution has got that far that there's too much mercury in fresh fish from sort of miles out to sea.
I think it's also just a bit of advice as well, isn't it? Just to make sure that you're not getting anything horrible inside you.
Judika says, why don't you try eating them with Jaffa cakes?
Ugh. I can't imagine chocolate with fish. That sounds disgusting.
Omega-3, Anna, thank you for that.
All the omegas.
All of them.
All of them, from 3 to 100.
Is it omega-6 that's in sort of, I think that's the one that's in plants.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Sort of seeds and things, and omega-3 is the one in fish.
Okay, good. We're going to take a break, a very quick break, and then we're back.
Fish cakes. I used to love fish cakes. My mum used to make fish cakes. That's a popular one here. It used to be. It's fish, probably cod again, cooked, but you can do it with salmon. And then you would like this, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to make them for you. And then you mix them with mashed potatoes mashed potatoes, a bit of parsley, the fish, and then you fry them in a frying pan. Oh, delicious. I'm going to do those one day.
I know what fish cakes are.
Yes, but maybe, my mother used to make them. My friends from school used to come round because they liked my mother's fish cakes so much. They used to say, can I come round and see you? Is your mother making fish cakes tonight? They did, that's true.
There's no answers to that. We're back in a moment. We're talking about panic. Can dance in all of the puddles today because we've had a lot of rain. In fact, today the weather is pretty awful. Welcome to the final half hour of today's English Addict with myself, Mr. Duncan, and him.
That reminded me of those lovely cows that we had 2 years ago. They were very friendly, and that one was so excited to see me.
It was a baby.
I don't usually get that reaction. Normally people run away from me, but cows seem to like me.
There is an answer to that I'm not going to say because it would be very rude to cows.
So what are we talking about, Mr. Duncan, in the last half an hour?
We are looking at a subject that I referenced briefly earlier. And yes, we did have a little bit of a drama in the house. My toaster caught fire the other night for the second time.
But should we get it repaired or should we just get a new one?
I don't know. I think we could get it fixed. I think so.
Yes.
We'll try.
Yeah, I think we will because that's a very... Well, we've had it at least 20 years.
Yes, a long time.
If not longer.
So this particular item caught fire, which caused me to panic. And that's what we're going to look at now, Steve.
Yep, we've just been reminded.
Panic.
By a certain person.
Panic words and phrases. And there you can see me looking as if I'm really panicking there.
It's funny, people do follow us. They know what's coming up.
Good.
I'm very impressed.
I'm impressed.
Because I'd forgotten we were going to talk about panic words.
I'm impressed that anyone is following us. So here we go then. First of all, the word panic. Panic can refer to a sudden burst of terror or worry. You suddenly, without warning, feel terrorized, or you feel suddenly scared or anxious about something. Normally something that's just happened, or maybe something that is about to happen, something that will happen in the future. You can panic. We can use this as a verb, also as a noun, to describe the state of panic. So people panic, they panic. They are panicking.
They act
Hmm.
in an unpredictable and a way where you have effectively lost control of your emotions, and you are letting your fears dictate how you react and behave to situations. You're literally just instantly reacting to something without stopping to think.
Yes.
And panic gives, if a lion was running towards you, you would probably panic.
As they do often.
But panic can result in you making mistakes in judgment. It can be very poor thing to happen to you because you make poor judgments.
People often do strange things when they panic.
Yes, that primitive part of your brain is taking over, and it's fight or flight mechanism. Adrenaline.
Oh, that's very good. Isaac Hunt. Hello, Isaac. I have to be careful how I say that. I think that might be someone playing with us, That's. I've just realised that might be. I think someone is trying to get me to say something rude there.
Well, maybe not. But
Isaac Hunt. That's. Oh, trust me, Steve. Just 15 years of doing this, you get very, very good with your nose. But a loss of self-control. Yes, you're right. Panic. You lose self-control.
A classic one is some people see spiders and they panic straight away.
Yes.
Scream, shout, and that is of course unusual because a spider's only a small thing. I suppose if you live in Australia. Or somewhere where you've got really deadly poisonous spiders, then I might panic. I mean, here in the UK, we don't have any poisonous spiders. But people still panic, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Scream at the sight of a spider or a mouse.
Yes.
Jump on chairs.
Especially women. Women often do. They scream, they stand on a chair, and they lift their skirts up, because they think that the mouse might run up their leg.
Yes, a loss of self-control. Thank you, Isaac.
Yes, don't do that again, Steve. I still think someone is trying to set us up there. Because Sukat also heard what I said as well. I think so. Alarm. Another word we can use instead of panic is alarm.
Yes.
We have 25 words to look at, by the way.
Okay, right.
Alarm. So to feel alarm, you have alarm. The alarm is the feeling of panic. Alarm. So something might alarm you. You might hear some terrible news. You might hear something terrible that's happened, and you will become alarmed. You will feel alarmed.
Yes. Somebody might say to you that there is a storm coming, a bad storm, a hurricane, a gale, a tornado, and that might make you feel alarmed. So it means that something inside your brain is telling you need to be aware that something dangerous could be happening. It's like an alarm going off. Something is, you might feel a little bit of panic. Maybe you might have to control that.
Here's another one. Terror. Terror. You might run for your life as something happens. Maybe something terrible happens, so you will run in panic. You will panic. It is something that is causing you to panic. So the terror is the thing that is causing you to panic, but also the feeling itself can be described as terror, or shock is another word we can use as well. Shock. I will quickly go through some of these words because they're quite easy to explain. We have horror. Sorry, Steve.
Okay. No, I was going to make some comments about terror.
Oh, terror. Okay.
Yes. Yes, I was just... I know you've had a lot of words to go through. Yes, you can feel terrible, can't you?
Yes.
I feel terrible. That means you just feel ill. You just feel maybe just horrible inside because something's happened. I feel absolutely terrible. Maybe your boss has just told you you're going to lose your job. I feel terrible.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're feeling terror.
No.
The terror that you would feel if you saw a lion coming towards you, the terror that you might feel if somebody suddenly tells you you've got to make a speech in public to hundreds of people, that terror inside.
Of course, the lion or the tiger could be terrible because it wants to attack you. So you can describe a person who is evil or wicked also as terrible.
You terrible person.
Yes. Anyway.
Because
Steve,
you said something nasty to somebody.
We have 20 minutes to get through 150 words. Horror. Horror. The horror. The horror of something. Something happening that might make you panic. So horror, you can feel horror. You can appear horrified. Panicked. You are concerned about something. Suddenly you start to panic.
If you saw a nasty accident, somebody fell over and broke their leg, or you saw a car accident, you would say that's absolutely horrible.
Wait, are you shrinking?
No, my legs are aching because I've been standing for an hour and a half.
I just caught you on the screen then, and you were. I thought you were actually getting smaller.
My legs are aching.
I don't know how that happened. You lose control, as mentioned earlier. You lose control. You might also lose your senses as well. If you lose your senses, it means you lose control. You are doing things that you might not normally do. Quite often when we are in a state of panic, we do things that we would not normally do.
People are making suggestions. You can inflict terror in somebody else, yes, by threatening them. You can threaten somebody with a knife, or you can threaten somebody that you'll do something if they don't, verbally you can threaten people as well.
Terrorise.
And cause terror in somebody because, exactly.
Here's another one. You lose your senses and you go into a panic. So you can use this as a phrase. A person might go into a panic. They become panicky. They develop a state where they can't control themselves because they are panicking.
Yeah, Nitram, the words horrible and terrible, they're sort of, you can use those interchangeably, can't you? To describe a situation quite often.
Yes, horrible, terrible, horrific, terrific. We often say terrific in a positive and negative way. So you can say a terrific tornado came through the village and destroyed all the houses. Or you could say, I had a terrific time last night at the party. So terrific can be used positively or negatively.
Yes, you could say, what a horrible meeting we had at work today. Oh, that was a terrible meeting. The speakers were terrible.
Yes.
If you could describe somebody, if someone's presentation skills were very bad, you would say that they were terrible. Or that film was terrible.
It was awful.
It means it's bad.
Awful. Here's another one. Freak out.
Freak out.
This is one of my favourites. If you freak out. If you freak out.
That's similar to panic, isn't it, Mr.
It is.
Duncan?
It's very similar
It's
to
a
panic.
sort of a modern, well, I wouldn't say modern, but it's just a more up-to-date sort of freak out. I freaked out, man. It's if you freak out, you're panicking.
Yes.
You've lost control of
Yeah.
yourself.
So you lose control of your senses, you freak out. A person will freak out. They will lose control of themselves. You might become fraught. Fraught. That's an interesting word. Fraught. It's one that a lot of people spell incorrectly as well. There it is down there. Fraught. The feeling of fear, the feeling of anxiety, it feels as if you are suddenly worried, concerned, maybe terrified of something. You feel fraught. Maybe you are having a busy day and everyone is making demands. They all want things. And you start to panic because you know you can't get all of those jobs done in time. You become fraught.
Yes, terrific. People are talking about that. Yes, the word terrific doesn't refer to terror at all. So terrific just means something that's very good. A terrific
Yes,
meal.
That's it. Or big.
Or big. Yes, it doesn't refer. It's always used in a positive way.
No, well, sometimes negative.
Okay.
Terrific can be used both positive and negative.
Okay.
A terrific thunderstorm or a terrific party. One is negative, one is
Yes.
positive. Here's another one.
Usually used.
Panic might also be an overreaction. Some people panic all the time over nothing, like your mum. I think your mother sometimes panics too much.
Well, I do as well.
And maybe sometimes Mr. Steve as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I tend to overreact to
Yeah.
things.
So to panic about something can be an overreaction. So some people do panic about things that they don't need to panic about. You overreact to something. I love the spelling of
Mary Alba's going. Bye bye. Yeah.
I love the spelling of overreact because it always looks incorrect. But there are two R's in overreact.
Right.
You go into a panic. You go into a panic. A person becomes panicky or panicked. There is panic and, oh, I love this word, Steve, pandemonium. Have you ever been in a situation where there is pandemonium around you?
Yes, that means that a lot of people are panicking. A lot of people are probably overreacting to a situation, or maybe not. Pandemonium. Maybe you were with a crowd of people and a loud bang went off somewhere and everybody started to react in a way that they thought there was a dangerous situation. You can be in a bar, in a club somewhere, and a fight breaks out, and then everybody else starts joining in. There's pandemonium. It just means there's a lot of random things happening. Order has broken down in that particular situation. And when that happens, a lot of people start to panic.
Yes. And we can have also panic attack as well. A moment where you suddenly feel panic come on. You feel panic. You feel suddenly terrified, as if something bad is about to happen, or maybe something bad is happening. You feel panic.
Or you might have that and nothing bad is going to happen. It's like a medical condition. People can have panic attacks when nothing bad is actually happening. Their bodies are somehow reacting to nothing. And you can get into that situation where you have these panic attacks and it feels like something bad's happening.
Yes.
I've had that sometimes if I've been driving somewhere and I'm lost or I'm late and sort of have a panic attack. So how am I going to find this place? And you just suddenly react to something. It's quite a debilitating condition to find yourself in.
From panic attack to panic buying. This is something a lot of people know about during the past 2 years of the craziness that has been taking hold of the planet. A lot of people have been buying things. They have been panicking because certain things are in short supply. For example, I suppose you might say things like bread. general things. People-
Toilet paper during the pandemic.
Yes, at the start of the pandemic. Who remembers that? The great shortage of toilet paper. Oh dear. That is something we can tell our grandchildren about in 20 or 30 years' time.
Panic buying, yes. Whenever people think there's going to be a shortage of something, people go out and they might not necessarily be actually panicking as they're buying it. It just means that they're getting overly concerned that there might be a shortage of something, and they irrationally buy too much of something. When it's obvious that if you were to think about it logically, those products would come back eventually. There was no need to panic buy toilet paper. It was just because the media started talking about it, and then people began to, I'll just go out and buy a couple of extra packets. But in this country, bread is something that people used to. When we used to grow up, people used to panic buy bread because somebody said there was going to be a shortage or something.
That's it. Here's another one. You might go into panic mode. So we often use this to describe a person who has become panicked or in a state of panic. A person will go into panic mode because suddenly you realise that something is about to happen or you need to do something. You go into panic mode.
People can use that, don't go into panic mode, or, I'm going to go into panic mode. It just means that it doesn't mean you're going to run around the house irrationally. It just means you're going to start to get anxious about something.
Yes.
Panic and anxiety and anxiousness are linked as well.
Here's one of my favourites, Steve. To run around like a headless chicken.
Yes.
A person who is panicking, a person who feels panicky, we can say that they run around like a headless chicken. The myth is that if you cut the head off a chicken, it will still run around. I don't know if it's true. I've never seen it happen. You freak out over something. We mentioned this earlier, freak out. You freak out over something. One particular thing makes you panic. You freak out over something. People are freaking out. If a person is panicking, you might tell them, you might say to them, please calm down, calm down, calm down. If Mr. Steve starts to panic, I will say, calm down, Steve, just calm down. Don't worry.
Or calm the down.
Yes. Can everyone please calm the fudge
down?
Calm the fudge down.
Yes. That sometimes can work because it can make people suddenly realise that maybe they are overreacting.
Yes.
That actually can work sometimes if you say that to somebody. But, not in some situations. But, yeah, so there we go. People hadn't heard of the word pandemonium.
Huh?
A lot of people hadn't heard of that. Somebody said, what a word, Nitram says we can use that to describe the last 2 years. Yeah.
It certainly has been pandemonium during the pandemic.
But yes, pandemonium refers to groups of people all reacting irrationally.
You might urge people to stay calm. We urge everyone to stay calm. That is something most of us were being told a couple of years ago. We were all being told to stay calm and not to panic.
People can have panic attacks, says Palmyra, before exams or performances. Yes, you can. Yes, you can suddenly feel a panic coming on. It's just adrenaline is starting to be produced in your body. And you might get that butterfly feeling. You might think you've forgotten your words, or you're going to perform badly, or people are going to laugh at you, and all this sort of thing.
Yes, I think that can happen. Hello, Vitas. This morning I saw a neighbour talking to her cat. It was obvious she thought her cat understood her. I came into my house and told my dog, and we laughed about it quite a lot. That's a joke. Thank you, Vitas. And I haven't mentioned this, but Vitas over the past few weeks has been introducing jokes.
She has. I've noticed quite a few today.
Jokes.
Sue Cat's going. Bye, Sue Cat. Lovely to see you today. Said she's loved being here today. She's on holiday. So very happy. So no panic. No panicking.
On holiday. Very nice. Remain calm is the final one. Remain calm. You want people not to panic. You want them to remain calm. So you might describe calm as the opposite of panic. So people panic or people stay calm. They don't panic. They remain calm. And that, as they say,
anxiety
is that.
Is another word we could introduce there. Thanks, Isaac.
Anxiety, the thing that you feel. You sometimes you can be anxious over nothing. You can feel anxiety, but you don't know why. For example, I might feel anxiety when I think that Mr. Steve has forgotten to make a cup of tea. I feel anxious because I think, where is my tea? Where is my cup of tea, my lovely cup of tea?
Or you might feel anxious because you think I might be about to say something controversial on the live stream.
Oh, well, that happens every week, doesn't it?
You might get anxious when you're about to give a speech, when you've got to do a presentation at work. But anxiety is a very topical phrase because a lot of people have been suffering sort of mental health problems during the pandemic. It's sort of that mental health issues and looking after your mental health has become very important.
It's affected many people in different ways.
Last 2 years.
Yes.
It's always been there, but it's just suddenly, since the pandemic, there's a lot more awareness around that topic, that condition. Particularly young people who've been suffering from the lockdowns.
We are coming towards the end of today's live stream. Can I just say that I will be back with you on Wednesday. There will be another live stream on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm back with you.
Thank you, Devilal. Thank you, Devilal Godara, for your comment. We weren't ignoring it. We can't always comment on every thing that people put on the live stream because there are so many.
We never ignore anyone. Sometimes we miss your messages.
Yes, we just miss them.
Like Angela van der Zanden also says, I agree with you. I think they are ignoring you. We are not. We don't ignore anyone.
Well, we've had. We don't know if it's Angela or Angela. Angela or Angela. Which one is it? Because obviously we asked this question last week. Don't think we got an answer because if it was Germany, it might be Angela, as in Angela Merkel.
Okay.
So yes, we'd like to know.
That's filled a minute.
Well, it's coming up to 4:00.
Yes.
Is it not? And it's still light outside and very bright.
I love this. This is something I mentioned last Wednesday. The days suddenly are becoming brighter and the sunshine and the light is lasting much longer. I have to say, I am pleased to see that the daylight is becoming longer and longer. So normally it would be dark now, but look, the sun is out and it's still light, which means that winter is slowly coming to an end and springtime is approaching. And I feel very happy about that.
Mitram wants me to say something controversial. Well, have I done that today? Have I said anything controversial?
I'm not
Maybe
sure,
not.
actually.
No, I don't think I have.
No. It makes a nice change.
Is Julio still on? I don't think so. Julio, earlier on, in Costa Rica.
You mean Julio?
Julio, sorry, yes, was going to have a Costa Rican breakfast on the way to the office. And I don't suppose they're still on. If you are, then tell us what you were having for breakfast.
What is a Costa Rican breakfast?
It sounds, whatever it is, it's going to be exotic from our point of view.
It sounds very nice. Anyway, Steve, that's it. We are out of time.
Were you on time today?
I was.
Wow.
Yes.
So there's no overtime today.
No overtime. We are here and we are about to go. We've done it for 2 hours. we've filled our job description, which is to entertain you and bring some English your way every single Sunday. And of course, Wednesday, I will be here with you, just me on Wednesday, and we can do maybe an hour or maybe 90 minutes together on Wednesday as well.
Thank you for your lovely comments. Isaac saying enjoyed today. Michelle is saying the same. Sandra saying thank you. Manicia is saying thank you. Beatrice says have a lovely afternoon. Thank you very much for your supportive comments.
Thank you.
And Giovanni is also saying thank you as well. Everyone's saying thank you. So it's lovely being here, Mr. Duncan. I shall go and make a cup of tea. And I'm hungry because I went out into the garden earlier. So I've been doing some exercise. So I'm feeling hungry. We've got 2 more packets of a certain cake.
Jaffa cakes.
To eat later, haven't we?
Yes.
The Joe Nuts, which we'd love to be paid for.
Okay, I don't want to tell you to hurry up, Steve.
Bye, everyone, and hopefully, all being well, I shall see you next week, and I will calmly go off into the kitchen without a panic and make a cup of tea.
I look forward to sampling Mr. Steve's cup of tea. See you next week.
Bye.
That was Mr. Steve. He's gone now, and I am about to go as well. I hope you've enjoyed the last 2 hours of this, and I will see you on Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. See you later, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and also have a good week as well, just in case I don't see you again until next Sunday. Catch you later. I hope you've enjoyed this. Stay happy, stay safe, keep smiling, keep it on your face as you walk amongst the human race. And I will see you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Stay happy, everyone. And ta-ta for now.